Grief and Resilience. By Jose A. Santos, facilitator of the Emotional Resilience course. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Buddha. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Dr. Seuss. Everyone will experience loss and grief at some point in their lives, whether it be due to the death of a loved one, or major life changes such as losing a job or breaking up a relationship. Being resilient, the ability to overcome adversity, we need to acquire the knowledge and experience that will strengthen our character. Each person faces and resolves grief in a different way and at different times. Pain is the price we pay for love. Queen Isabel II. As we navigate loss and grief, most people go through different phases of adversity, albeit in a different order. Denial, we can't believe that this happened. We might be in a state of shock or pretend or forget for a while what is happening. Anger, we might feel angry with ourselves, with our loved ones, and even with God. Anger is an expression of the value we place on what we have lost. Bargaining, we may think it's a nightmare and try to bargain with God to turn things around. We may ask ourselves what if questions, such as what if I go to the temple every week in order to get a specific result. Sadness, we experience deep sadness at our loss. That sadness can be powerful and overwhelming, but it's not necessarily clinical depression, it is a normal part of the grieving process. Acceptance consists of admitting that the loss has occurred. It does not mean that we feel happy for the loss or that we betray the memory of what we have lost, we simply accept the reality of the loss so that we can begin to move on. All people suffer differently. Some may find it difficult to sleep and eat. Others may want to be with other people, while others may want to be alone. There are those who can feel intense emotions and others may not. Some might grieve quickly and others might take a long time. There is no right way to grieve. Let no one cry for me, nor celebrate my funeral in mourning, because I still live, while I pass from one place to another through the mouths of men. 5th Ennius. The following suggestions may help you better understand and cope with grief, or help others who are experiencing it. Allow yourself to feel, cry, and experience whatever you may or may not feel as part of the process. Take care. Eat healthy, get enough sleep, and try to exercise. Discover the feelings you are experiencing and acknowledge that they are normal and healthy. Set realistic expectations about how long you might need and take one step at a time. Recognize that feelings of happiness, joy, and peace do not mean disloyalty to the memory of what you have lost. Express your thoughts and feelings by writing about your loss, as well as your hope for the future. If those feelings become overwhelming, you may need to seek professional help. Perhaps you know someone who has lost a loved one, is going through a difficult time, or has been diagnosed with depression or another illness. It can be hard to know what to say or do when you are with that person. You may feel embarrassed or uncomfortable showing emotion or being around someone who is showing emotions. Below are several examples of not so helpful phrases that you may have heard people use when trying to help someone who is grieving. In the next paragraph are helpful phrases you could use instead. Less useful phrases. I know exactly how you feel. Oh, even if we have been through something very similar, it is always better to ask questions and listen to how the person feels. You just have to have faith, everything will be fine. Oh, of course we must have faith, but that doesn't change the fact that something is painful or not. It is important to be present with the person. At least you. Oh, when we start the sentences with at least, we minimize what the person is experiencing. God has a plan. Oh, this can give the impression that we are trying to quickly solve the problem, instead of really listening and loving. They are in a better place. Don't worry, time heals everything. If you need help, call me. Don't cry for him, at least he didn't suffer. Now that he's gone, you must be strong. Oh, saying this does not stop the person from missing their loved one. Most useful phrases. I don't know what to tell you right now, but I'm glad you told me. Tell me about what you feel now. I appreciate you very much. You can count on me. It's normal to feel this way. Memorable phrases about mourning. 1. Grief does not change you, it reveals you, John Green. 2. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. The deeper the mourning, the closer God is, Fyodor Dostoevsky. 3. Only people capable of loving intensely can suffer great pain, but this very need to love serves to counteract their duels and the cure, Leo Tolstoy. 4. To cry is to make the duel less profound, William Shakespeare. 5. They say that time heals all wounds, but that presupposes that the root of grief is finite, Cassandra Clare. 6. One cannot go through life without pain. What we can do is decide, in the face of the pain that life presents us, Bernie S. Siegel. 7. No one ever told me that mourning feels like fear, C.S. Lewis. 8. There is no mourning, like the one who does not speak, Henry Wordsworth. 9. The only cure for pain is action, George Henry Lewis. 10. Happiness is beneficial to the body, but mourning develops the powers of the mind, Marcel Proust. 11. You do not know how strong you are, until being strong is the only option you have, Bob Marley. 12. The best way to encourage yourself is to try to encourage others, Mark Twain. 13. An honest listening is the best medicine we can offer to those who are in pain, Gene Cameron. 14. The suppressed mourning suffocates. It wreaks havoc inside the chest and is forced to multiply its strength, Ovid. 15. Grief is a process, not a state, and Grant. 16. Those who have suffered understand suffering and therefore extend their hand, Patti Smith. 17. He who covers up his pain finds no remedy for it, Turkish proverb. 18. The word happiness would lose meaning without sadness, Carl Gustav Jung. 19. There is no mourning that does not speak, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. 20. The things that hurt instruct, Benjamin Franklin. 21. A man who does not cry would not be human, Norman Schwarzkopf. 22. Pain without tears bleeds internally, Christian Novelle. 23. Do not protect yourself from pain with offense, but rather with your friends, Czech proverb. 24. Those who drink to drown their sorrows should know that sorrows know how to swim, and Landers. 25. Shared pain is diminished pain, Rabbi Grolman. 26. The pain that has no outlet in tears can make other organs cry, Henry Maudsley. 27. Grief does not make you imperfect. Makes you human, Sarah Dessen. 28. Change the way you think and you will change the way you feel. Charmaine Smith Ladd. 29. Heaven knows we should never be ashamed of our tears, for they are rain on the blinding sand of the earth, covering our hard hearts. Charles Dickens. 45. Those who do not cry are petrified, Aichange. 47. Pain looks back, worries look around, faith looks up, Ralph Waldo Emerson. 50. Every life has a measure of pain. And sometimes this is what wakes us up. Steven Tyler. 54. Don't be ashamed to cry, you have the right to cry. Tears are just water, flowers, trees, and fruits cannot grow without water. But there must also be sunlight. A wounded heart will heal in time, and when it does, the memory and love of our lost will be sealed within us to comfort us, Brian Jacques. 59. When someone you love dies, his legacy becomes a living memory, Aichange. 60. I will wait for you, still sitting on a stone. Josefina Santos. 61. What soap is to the body, tears are to the soul. Jewish proverb. Start speech, end speech.